Hey everybody, it's Nerdicane. I'm doing another Air Force basic training video. This one's going to cover sort of the physical aspects of it. You know, I often get asked when I was in basic training, and I talk about some of the dumb things that I did and some of the trouble I got into. People ask me, how many push-ups did I have to do? And to that I answer, none. They don't really force you to do, it's not like you forgot to tie your shoes, drop and give me 20. It was never like that, because Air Force isn't really like that. It's not a physical stress that you're really going to be under that often. It's more of a mental stress. It is different. The stuff you're going to deal with is more psychological and more mental in the Air Force. So they're seeing if you can handle, just like out in the real world, when you're deployed, can you handle the stress when things aren't going right and things have to be done on time every time? That's what it is. So I went to basic training, and I sort of expected that, so I started doing a lot of push-ups before going to basic training. So it wasn't that at all. I should have been doing running. It's a lot more running than I prepared myself for, and I never really liked. Even to this day, I don't enjoy just running. I'll run if I'm playing soccer, or I'll run if I'm playing football, but just go for a jog isn't really something that I have to to this day I have to force myself to do it. But in the Air Force, I actually got pretty good at running. I was a pretty fast distance runner. I was never really I was more of a sprinter growing up, but I got pretty good at running. And I remember when I went to tech school, I was one of the fastest people when we did our long runs. So it's funny how that changes when you get in there. It also helped that I lost a lot of weight. I was like rail skinny. I don't know. I'll see if I can find some of the old pictures for the other videos that I do, but I was like rail skinny back then. But the physical demands aren't really that great. Like I said before, it's the mental demands. There's times when you're just out in the open by yourself, especially in the chow hall. And that's the thing about the Air Force basic training. There's a constant mental pressure on you. All of these TIs are there to jump on you whenever. Then they're actively looking to do it at all times. That's what you're going to feel more than. You're going to be tired from marching. You're going to have long marches and things like that. But it's like when you walk across the chow hall, just going from the line getting your food to sitting down, just imagine the eye of Sauron is upon you, and you are being watched at all times. There's a certain way to stand. There's a certain way to walk with your tray. There's a certain way to go to your table. And sit down. It was a 4-person table, and everybody had to be there. So the first position, second position, third position, no matter how long it takes for the fourth person to get there, they have to stand there still waiting. And when the fourth person gets there, he says something like, "Gentlemen, please sit down," or something like that, and then you all sit down together and eat. Any deviation from that, you get in trouble. You'll get, the snake pit is right next to you, and they're watching you constantly. And if you deviate from that, they will definitely come over there and let you know. They'll let you hear about it. I almost got through basic training without getting any 341s pulled. 341 is this piece of paper that you carried, and it's sort of like, it has your name, your social on it, and then if it gets pulled from you for stepping out of line or doing something incorrectly, it's like a demerit. And if you get that, then you're disqualified from honor flight. You can't be an honor flight, or you can't graduate with honors in basic training if you get one of those pulled. I rubbed my nose in line. I was waiting in line to get my chow, and my nose itched. I reached up and I just rubbed my nose really quick. Boom, that was it. That was the end of my the end of my 341, and he took it, and it sounds stupid saying it now, and to somebody who is a civilian saying it now, it sounds really dumb. But when you're in that situation, and when you're in the Air Force, it's high damn pressure. They pressure you about this test that you have to take. They pressure you about marching. You can be standing still and you'll feel mental pressure. So the Air Force isn't really, like I said, the Air Force really isn't physical. It's mental. So you got to prepare yourself when you're going into the Air Force for that. There is something called the confidence course, and that's kind of like an obstacle course. I expected, when I heard about basic training, I expected to be running an obstacle course like all the time, where it was actually, I was very disappointed that you only do it one time, and I think it's in the 4th or 5th week of training that you go do your obstacle course. 4th and 5th week is when everything cool happens in basic training. That's when you do your M16 training. That's when you do your obstacle course. That's when you have the 5th week is when you have your, I forget what it's called, but it's a competition, a marching competition where you're judged against the other people, other flights at your squadron and other squadrons. So that was something really, that's some of the cool stuff that goes on in the 4th and 5th week. And 6th week is basically testing and graduation. But the obstacle course, it is partly designed to test your ability to deal with the suck. There's going to be times where you get wet. There's going to be obstacles where it's unavoidable. Even if you complete the obstacle properly, your feet are going to get wet or your shirt's going to get wet. Now, if you fall in, there are obstacles that are above pools that you can fall into that nasty ass water down there, and you got to spend the rest of your day wet and sandy and muddy. But that's partly what it is it's starting to get you adjusted to being in a situation where it sucks. Like, you're wet, you're cold, you got sand in your underwear, and this actually does happen when you're out in active duty. Like, there's a couple times where I deployed where I got caught in a sandstorm, and I didn't have my mask. All I had was my goggles, and it's brutal. Oh my God, you don't even understand what a sandstorm is like. I mean, it's like you're just, everything you breathe in is dirt. You're just breathing in dirt the whole time. It gets in your nose, it gets in your sinuses. This might be a little gross, but the biggest boogers you're ever gonna pull out of your head are while you're out in the desert. It's crazy. I'm like, you do a snot rocket to clear your sinuses out, and you'll be terrified about what comes out. It's pretty big. It's one of the things they don't tell you about deployments to the desert. But yeah, that's the physical demands aren't that much, but you'll understand when it sucks. M16 training was a lot of fun too. It's very serious, but you sort of know you're late in your training, so you sort of know who's a knucklehead, who's a dumbass, and you really don't want to be on the range next to them because they're gonna do something stupid. You know they're gonna do something stupid. They're gonna aim their weapon the wrong way. They're gonna misfire. They're gonna forget to safe their weapon. They're gonna do something stupid, and you don't want to be next to that guy. But yeah, let's see. I'm trying to think what else there is as far as the physical. Yeah, it's a lot of marching and it's a lot of running. That's what I wasn't really prepared for, but I adapted and I got pretty good at running. And but to this day, I still don't like running. But let's see what else. I think that's all I got for this one on the physical stuff. I think the next one I'm going to go a little more into some of the mental things and some of the dumb things that I saw people get in trouble for, and I'm definitely going into KP when there's duties like KP and things like that. And, you go out and you rake up dust and grass and things like that. But holy cow, I saw some people do some dumb stuff during that. But that's all I got for this one. You guys go out, have a good day. It is, what is it? It says November 1st. You guys, hope you had a good Halloween, didn't eat too much candy, and thanks for listening, and hoo-yah.